Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're unpacking a really fascinating concept. It really cuts across history, power dynamics, even just everyday interactions. We're diving into Law 4. Always say less than necessary. This is from, the 48 Laws of Power. We'll be using bits from the book and some honestly captivating stories.
And great anecdotes in there.
Totally. So our mission today really is to get to the core of this law. It's not just saying silence is golden, we all know that saying.
Right.
But why? Why does silence wield such power? When can your words actually be your downfall? And even those rare times, the counterintuitive ones, when saying more might be the way to go.
Yeah, the exceptions are interesting too.
Exactly. You're going to get some surprising facts, maybe some aha moments that could actually make you rethink the conversations you have every day.
Hope so.
Okay, so let's unpack this. What's the fundamental idea? What's the principle at play here?
Well, at its core, the law suggests that the more you talk, the more, calming you seem. And
Right.
crucially, the less in control you appear.
Less in control.
Powerful people, they tend to impress, maybe even intimidate by saying less. It's not just about avoiding saying something foolish, though that's part of it.
Sure.
It's more about cultivating this aura of depth, mystery even. You let others project meaning onto your silence.
That idea of projecting meaning onto silence, that's really potent. How does someone actually, do that? How do you cultivate that control and practice? Can you give us a solid example, maybe a real-world one?
Absolutely. Consider the story of Michael Arlen. He was a screenwriter, kind of down on his luck.
Okay.
And he meets the Hollywood mogul, Louis B. Mayer. Mayer asks him, what are your plans? And Arlen's entire reply, all he says is, I was just talking to Sam Goldwyn.
Huh, okay. Just drops a name.
Exactly. Mayer, probably intrigued, maybe a bit competitive, right? He immediately jumps in asking, how much did he offer you?
Not Rollin.
Arlen's response is super brief, evasive, just 2 words, not enough.
Wow.
And boom, Mayer instantly offers him $15,000 for 30 weeks' work.
Just like that. So the insight there isn't just silence, is it? It's more about that minimal, almost ambiguous communication.
Precisely. It creates leverage.
It forces the other person to fill in the blanks and, often in your favor. Does this also work for, more subtle psychological power?
Yeah.
Say, in leadership?
Oh, definitely. There's that legendary story about Henry Kissinger. It illustrates this perfectly.
Okay, Kissinger. Let's hear it.
So Winston Lord, who worked for Kissinger, spent days absolutely slaving over this report.
Right.
Kissinger gets it, sends it back with just one note written on it, just one thing.
And they said,
Is this the best you can do?
ouch.
Yeah. So Lord, he rewrites it, polishes it, thinks it's perfect now, sends it back, gets the exact same note back. Is this the best you can do?
Oh, come on. That's brutal.
DeLorde was, understandably, frustrated.
Here.
He finally snaps, goes back to Kissinger and says, damn it, yes, it's the best I can do.
And Kissinger's reaction.
Totally calm. He just replies, fine, then I guess I'll read it this time.
Wow. That is chillingly effective. The real aha isn't just silence there. It's the precision, minimal words, almost cryptic, creating incredible leverage. It forces the other guy, Lord in this case, to reveal his limit, not Kissinger's.
Exactly. It's scarcity breeding value, even with words.
And maybe the ultimate historical example of this law in action is Louis XIV. Would you say?
Oh, indeed. Louis XIV was an absolute master of saying little. Think about his famous line, L'état, c'est moi, I am the state.
So concise, yet so powerful.
Incredibly pithy, yeah. And apparently his usual response when people asked for things was just, I shall see.
That's it. I shall see.
That was it. Courtiers would present their cases. They'd argue for days amongst themselves beforehand, trying to perfect their pitch.
Right.
And Louis would just listen in silence. He wouldn't consult them again. Weeks later, he'd simply act.
So they never knew where they stood after the pitch.
Never. And what's really fascinating, is that he wasn't always like this. Apparently, as a young man, he was actually quite verbose. Liked the sound of his own voice, maybe.
Huh. So he learned it.
He learned it. He figured out that his silence made it impossible for people to deceive him by just telling him what they thought he wanted to hear.
Because they had no idea what he wanted to hear.
Exactly. They'd just keep talking, trying to figure him out, and in the process, they'd reveal their own true intentions, their weaknesses.
Which he could then use.
Which he would absolutely use to his advantage later. His measured silence wasn't just for show, it wasn't just majesty. It became this active tool for gathering intelligence, a foundation of his power.
So saying less isn't just about appearing powerful, it's about actively gaining information. You let others project onto you, and crucially, they reveal themselves in the process. This idea even pops up in the art world, right? Where perception is pretty much everything. I'm thinking, like, Andy Warhol.
Absolutely. Warhol had this revelation at some point. He realized that talking often backfired. He literally said he had more power when he shut up. His interviews became famously enigmatic, didn't they?
Totally. Very hard to pin down.
He'd let other people interpret his work. He actually attributed that technique to Marcel Duchamp, who also found that the less he said about his art,
The more other people talked about it.
exactly, and the more they talked, the more valuable his work seemed to become.
That's a brilliant connection. Scarcity in communication translating directly into perceived value. Okay, so we've seen the power, the incredible upside of mastering your words, of saying less. But what about the flip side? What happens when you completely fail at this? Are the consequences really that bad?
Oh, they can be disastrous. And the story of Coriolanus is, well, it's a pretty brutal lesson in exactly that.
Coriolanus, the Roman general.
That's the one. A legendary military hero, practically worshipped for his battlefield exploits. He decides to get into politics.
And he started off really well, didn't he? I remember something about that.
He did, yeah. Initially, he made this huge impression just by showing his battle scars. No big speech, just the scars. The crowd was moved to tears.
Wow, powerful nonverbal communication.
Totally. His election seemed like a sure thing, but then, on polling day, he decides to make another speech.
Uh-oh.
Big uh-oh. This time, his words, they were arrogant, boastful. He told these sour jokes that only the aristocrats got, made angry accusations against opponents.
That's a good look.
Not at all. The people listen, and they suddenly realize their hero, this legendary soldier, was actually just, in the words of the source, a common braggart.
Oof. So his own words just shattered that mystique, undermined everything.
Completely. The more he talked, the less powerful he seemed. And he didn't stop there. He kept making it worse, condemning democracy itself, saying they should get rid of the people's representatives.
Doubling down.
Totally. When he was finally forced to appear before the people again, he just hurled more insults. They eventually silenced him and condemned him to banishment.
So that gap, the discrepancy between the legend they had built up and the disappointing reality revealed by his own words.
It led directly to his downfall. It's a stark illustration, really. If you can't control your words, you often can't control yourself.
That's a stark lesson. Words once spoken, you can't take them back. And there's another chilling example too, isn't there? About the danger of just letting words fly.
Yeah, the story of Kondraty Ryleyev. He was a leader of the Decembrist uprising in Russia.
Okay.
He was sentenced to death by hanging, but during the execution, the rope broke.
Whoa. That was usually seen as a sign, right? Like divine intervention.
Exactly. It was almost always grounds for a pardon. So Ryleyev stands up, bruised, probably thinking he's saved, but then he calls out, famously.
What did he say?
He yells, "You see, in Russia, they don't know how to do anything properly, not even how to make rope."
Oh no, you could just feel the temperature drop in the room.
Precisely. Tsar Nicholas I was apparently just about to sign the pardon. He pauses, asks, "Did Ryleyev say anything after this miracle?"
And they told him.
They told him the sarcastic remark. The Tsar tore up the pardon on the spot. Ryleyev was hanged again the next day. This time, the rope held.
Brutal. Just absolutely brutal. It hammers home that point.
Yeah.
Once the words are out, that's it.
Irreversible. And the source specifically warns about sarcasm, that momentary satisfaction you get.
Can come with a very heavy price.
An incredibly heavy price.
Okay, so it's abundantly clear the human tongue truly is, as the saying goes, a beast that few can master. But this isn't like a 100% rule, is it?
Yeah.
Always say less. Does silence ever backfire? Could saying too little make you seem, I don't know, suspicious or just disengaged?
That's a really important question because, yeah, this law needs caution. It needs nuance.
Right.
The source does point out that silence can sometimes stir up suspicion or insecurity, especially, say, with your superiors.
Okay, so maybe they think you're hiding something.
Or just being vague. Vague comments can be misinterpreted badly. So you definitely have to apply this law carefully, judge the situation.
So are there times when the smart move is actually to talk more? maybe in a sort of disarming way. You mentioned exceptions earlier, like a court jester, maybe?
Precisely. That's a great analogy the source uses. Sometimes it's much wiser to play the jester.
How so?
Well, the jester talks, entertains, often appears foolish,
Right.
right? But they're usually way smarter, more observant than the king. They're entertaining.
Sure.
Their talkativeness, their seeming foolishness, it acts like a smokescreen. It makes them seem less cunning, less manipulative.
So they can get away with more.
Exactly. It allows them to practice deception or maybe just gather information much more easily because nobody sees them as a threat. By talking more, seeming weaker or less intelligent, you can actually disarm people.
Fascinating. So it's about using words, or the lack of them, strategically based on the context and your goal.
Right.
Wrapping this up then, what does this all mean for you, the listener, whether you're in a big negotiation and team meeting or just, chatting with friends?
No.
This deep dive into always say less than necessary.
Yeah.
It's not really about just being quiet all the time, is it?
No, not at all. It's about understanding the intricate power dynamics of communication. Being strategic.
Strategic with your words, recognizing that everything you say or don't say carries weight.
Right. It can build up your perceived power or it can tear it down. Knowing when to hold back and, when to maybe let loose like the jester. That's not just a clever trick. It's a pretty deep insight into human nature, influence, how to maintain control.
So maybe next time you're in a situation and you feel that urge, that urge to fill silence or explain everything,
Yeah.
maybe just pause, consider. Could saying less actually give you more power here? What information might you accidentally give away if you keep talking? And maybe the most potent question, how might your silence actually prompt other people to show their hand, to reveal their real intentions?
That's the key question, isn't it?
Definitely something to mull over until our next deep dive.